Welcome to Life Mastery for Women. I'm your host, Jen Mack, Lady of the Mind. I've been studying mind mastery and emotional management and energy work and its connection to spirituality for over 25 years. And in this podcast, I help guide you out of your daily struggles in life in the areas of health, wealth, relationships, and spirituality. Life is hard, but your daily growth doesn't have to be. Join me 3 times a week as I lead you inward on a healing, connecting, and creating journey. Let's go get that nugget of inspiration towards your transformation. Hey ladies, it's Jen Mack, Lady of the Mind. Welcome to today's episode where I hope I'm finding you getting what you want. If you're not getting what you want, then it is my intention that in today's episode I give you just one nugget of inspiration towards your transformation. So I love this topic. I love talking about getting what you want and dreaming and taking the lid off your limitations and getting out of the barrel and going, you know what? What do I want today? How do I want to explore and experience this life? What do I want to do? Who do I want to become? What do I want to have? What experiences, what things? And no matter what it is that you want, whether it's just a little bit more money, to have a better relationship, to be a better mom, to have a great job, it doesn't matter what the thing is. The steps are exactly the same. The formula to apply is the same. It's now just a matter of applying it. There's always blocks. There's always obstacles to everything you do. Everything that you choose, you could possibly imagine doing, there's always going to be an obstacle. And that's it's sort of the fun, but in my experience, it definitely can be the frustration. But if you know how, then the doing becomes easy. So think of a game of chess. Have you ever played chess? Do you know the rules of chess and how all the pieces move differently? If you just sat down across from an expert chess player and you are trying to learn the game by just playing the game, it's going to be very frustrating from the beginning because every time you move a piece, then your opponent, takes the piece and puts it back on that square because you moved it incorrectly. Do you know how long it would take you to learn how to play the game? Long, long time. And it would not be very fun, would it? It would be very, very frustrating. So what I love to do is explore different things and follow different people, authors, leaders, thought leaders, coaches, gurus, speakers, whoever is putting teachable things out there. And one of my favorite things to do is to grab that tool, practice that tool, and see what results I get. And that's kind of what I do with you. So I'm an avid learner. I'm always in a book. I'm always learning. I'm always reading. I'm always watching videos and taking courses and blogs like crazy and whatever to learn how to do something, learn the formula, try to find the shortcut of years and years of practice and figuring it out and playing chess. I'm just going to go Google, how do you play chess? And I'm going to learn the fastest way. Now I can sit down across from this expert and play the game. That's what I want for you. So I'm learning these very powerful tools. And though I've been in the personal development field for 1,000 years, it is my addiction. And you will never find me without learning something new every day. Every single day for my 50 years on this planet, I am learning something new. And when it comes to these powerful tools, it is absolutely like you couldn't stop me from sharing this. And I hope that you listen to this all the way through and take what I'm saying as a point of truth, because as I practice these tools and I teach these tools to others and we all are getting results, then I know it works and it'll work for you too. So here's how you get what you want. I'm not going to talk about the dreaming part because I have plenty of episodes where I talk about dreaming, but you really need to take the limits off of your dreaming because as we put limits, those become our obstacles, and you create your own obstacle by adding those obstacles, by having the limitations beyond your dream. So I want my business to be in the high 6 figures. I want to coach that many people. I want to have fun. I want my business to be flowing. I want my business to make 6 figures. I want it to be this amazing place of women who come together, learn together, share with each other. And it's just this great group that just moves together in support for one another. And it becomes this fun place where we go and do retreats or live events in really cool locations. That's my goal. Well, if I'm sitting back and going, I just want to make a little bit more money. Oh, I just want one or two more clients. I just want a little bit more. That doesn't create any excitement. So that's the first thing, is when you are talking about your desire, talk about it in a place, in a way that creates excitement. If you've listened to the last few episodes ago, see if I can find it real quick here, is kind of getting back to the basics, basically, and figuring out how to create. And that is using your emotional state, not just your mind. You cannot create from your mental energy. You cannot create from your mental energy. So everybody say that with me. You cannot create from your mental energy. Number 330 and 329, all of those, and 328, 29, and 330 are all talking about what I'm sort of glimpsing on right now, which are just a few episodes ago. But if we can understand that, if you can start to go inward and you can start that introspection and understanding your energy and your emotional state and your mental state and deciphering between the two. Now, it's going to take a little bit of practice, especially if you've not gone inward before. It'll take a little bit of practice, but once you start deciphering between your mental energy and your emotional energy, you are going to be well on your way, because you're taking your thoughts, and you can practice this in extremes. So you can take a thought, create the visual, use the words that then get down and create an emotional state. So take something, the easiest way to do it is to take something that you absolutely hate, you despise, that really just gets under your skin, and practice doing this where you're using words, and in those words and in that inflection and your tone and your volume, feel into your body when your body starts the sensations based on what you're saying. So if I'm saying something like, oh my God, I absolutely hate animal abuse. It just gets under my skin. I just want to put everybody on death row. I just can't even stand it. I don't even know why people get dogs if you're just going to cage them up and put them in the backyard in the winter, tie them to a tree. I just hate it, hate it, hate it. I can immediately feel that in my body. So practice that, and practice it on the other extreme too. Something that makes you so excited or puts you in this inspirational state that just brings you joy when you talk about it. Like when we first went to Disney and they have the little train ride and they're singing the song of put your ears on. Oh my God. I was in tears, and it was so connected to my childhood. I can immediately feel that in my body. That is your first piece of practice, is getting to the place where you can master your words and your thoughts that create and induce an emotional, physical sensation. Okay? Master your thoughts that create the emotional sensation in your body. This, you guys, is magic. Magic. So don't skip step number 1. Using your thoughts, doing it on purpose. Okay? Now, when you want to create the thing, whatever the thing is talk about the thing. Whatever you want to create, whatever you want to have, whoever you want to become, whatever you want to do, is talk about it until you feel the amazingness in your body. Like me talking about a retreat center or doing women's retreats, probably not building a retreat center, but going to these wonderful places, maybe these tropical places, and maybe those places have other activities that we can all take part in as a group. And then we come back for teaching or coaching, and there's a fire, in the evening we do fireside chats, and there's wonderful food and drinks. And it's just this great group of women coming together. Oh, it's just so amazing and so transformational. I can feel that in my body. That's a place of creation. Okay. Now, that's step number 1. And that's step number 1, 2, and 3. I mean, just get in there and do that. Journal it, write it, act it out, say it out loud. Then the next part, and this one's going to take a little bit of research on your part, is to become the person who has that thing. So if you want more money, if you want to be abundant, if you want to lose weight, if you want a best partner, if you want an awesome job, if you want to be an entrepreneur who has a retreat center, you have to become the person who has that. So when you can stop thinking about the thing and start thinking about the change that you have to go through to get the thing, magic starts happening. If you can think about, here's the thing I want, there's that. And then you start focusing on, who do I have to become to get that thing? That's when the work and the magic happens. And that's when it becomes beautiful. then that's when all the E's come your way. The serendipities, the possibilities, the opportunities, right? The synchronicities. Then they start showing up immediately. I have seen it time and time again, and it is this amazing shift that happens in somebody's energy because it's your energy that creates, not your thought. You can stand in front of the mirror and say, I'm thin and fit and I'm rich and famous all day long until the cows come home. But it's not going to happen because the mental energy does not create. You have to get it down into the body. And if you're feeling unhealthy while you're standing in front of the mirror saying I'm thin and fit, it's your feelings that are creating. It's your energy state. Okay. It's your energy state. And so you have to know that. And that's where you have to practice. So now by becoming, here's a little bit of the research that you'll have to do. And I'm doing this too. I'm doing this work. I've got my big 3-inch binder and I'm uncovering the limiting beliefs I have about leveling up my business and my coaching practice. And I'm uncovering the beliefs and I'm installing the new beliefs and I'm doing all of the work that I teach you guys. And stuff is already shifting for me. And it's been less than 24 hours. Okay. By the becoming, if you don't know what it feels like to be abundant or thin and fit or have the relationship or have the career, you have to do a little bit of a research. And here's what I did. Like I'm focusing on growing my business right now. And I want it to be like well on its way to a 6-figure business, at least by the end of the year. I have to become somebody who owns a 6-figure business. So what I started doing is I started researching. That's the first step. You have to research what that person is like. So I wrote into Google and I wrote in there and I said, how do abundance people or people with how do abundant people think? And I got tons of articles and I just skimmed through those articles and I wrote words down and small phrases that made sense to me, that made sense that, yeah, I don't do that. Like, I'm not that. Like I have an issue with gratitude. So I need to write that down and I don't share. And so I wrote that down. And so now what I do is now I can take those words and find out what my limiting beliefs are around them, shift the mental energy, get it into my emotional energy, uncover the blocks. And then there's more work, right? Uncover the blocks and then start installing new beliefs. And then I start using those words, which leads me to the next one, is using those words on a daily basis. There's plenty to go around, feeling gratitude, moving myself into that receiving mode, okay? Opening the heart up. So once I do that research, then it becomes practice. So I'm researching, how do they think? Someone who's thin and fit, they don't think the same as a person who's tremendously overweight. Someone who has a job they love, they do not think the same as a person who has a job that they hate. A person in a loving, supportive relationship does not think the same as somebody who is in an unhealthy, abusive relationship. So changing our thoughts, getting it into the body, uncovering the limiting beliefs, installing new beliefs, that's the work. And that's actually pretty easy once you uncover who the person is that you have to become to get that thing. Then the next is practicing it. So as you are uncovering the limiting beliefs, installing the new beliefs, that's the work. Now you start to practice it. Now you go out into the world and you use different words. You act a different way. Do you remember they say fake it until you make it? Well, the step that's in between there, which is why saying I'm thin and fit all day long doesn't work, is because it's got to get into the body. And that's the work that I do as an energy coach. I help you to get in the body. And getting in the body it's practice. And it's an awareness, which is where meditation comes in, but it is this building this relationship with yourself. And as you continue to build this relationship with yourself, you become more aware of what you're doing, what you're thinking, what you're saying, how you're feeling. And then as you can understand those elements, now you can course correct. Now you can go, oh, you know what? That thought, that thing that I just said isn't going to help me get the thing that I want. And so we make adjustments. Are you going to fall off the horse? Yes, ma'am, you are. But what you're going to do is get right back on the horse. So it's how long do you stay off the horse? How long do you get mad at the horse? How long do you get mad at the beehive for buzzing too loud when the horse went by that kicked you off, right? It's really about, you know what? That happened. Let's go. Because remember, we have this habitual thinking. We think in our past. So every morning we wake up and we rehearse our past. Okay, what are the problems I have? What are the issues? What's my stressor? What do I need to do? Who do I need to call? What are all these things? And I'm reliving the past over and over again. How many of you in here have the same problem that you've been dealing with for 1,000 years? And everybody raises their hand because we're reliving our past. We don't realize that we have to do something inside for the outside to change. We are constantly waiting for something to shift in our external world that then will shift our internal emotional state. And it's backwards. That's backwards. How long have you been doing that? And is it working for you? No, the answer is a big fat no. So if the answer is a big fat no, that means I have to do something different. This is where empowerment comes in. Now, step number 3 is going to be releasing. So as we're practicing, and we're saying things like, oh, I just give up. This is too hard. Okay. An abundant person, a successful person doesn't say that. Okay. So now you have to release that story, release that limiting belief, release it, release it, release it, let it go because it's no longer serving you. And as it's no longer serving you, because if you keep saying that, you're never going to get the goal. You're never going to get the job. You're never going to get the relationship. Never. Or the money or the business or the clients. Never. Or the health. Never. Because those words aren't in alignment with what it is that you're trying to get. Okay? And then step 4 is embody. So once you have this, I want to say this avatar, once you have this avatar figured out, this is how a healthy person thinks. This is the words they use when they speak. This is how they act. This is their posture. I am going to start doing that. I'm going to step into that role. So I looked at it as stepping into, I've just been hired to be an actress for a TV show, and I'm an abundant businesswoman, and I am going to start practicing the posture, the tone, the decisions, the actions, the words, the thoughts, the emotional state. I'm going to take a load of notes, which I did last night. I took a load of notes of what an abundant person feels like. What do they think like? How do they act? What do they behave? What do they believe in? That's a good one. What do they believe in? Because their beliefs are not the same as my beliefs. So I'm going to shift my beliefs because I know how to do that. That's the step that they miss in their articles that I know that is the foundation of all of my teachings. You go inward and start shifting your thoughts, start removing the limiting beliefs, start installing new beliefs that shift your energy. It's the new beliefs and the release of the old beliefs that no longer work. That is the magic. Because where do I create from? Not my mental energy. Where do I create? I create from my emotional state. I create from my emotional state. I cannot, and you cannot create from your mental state. You can't. You can't. So, all right. Just making that note because that was a good one. I create from my energy state. Now, the next step is to get into receiving mode. To get into receiving mode. When you're in a meditative state and you sit down and you turn all your social media off and you get centered and you get grounded and connected to source energy and Mother Earth and you open up your intuition, ask your body, show me receiving mode and watch your heart expand. Feel into your heart as it gets bigger and ask yourself to gently remind you to get into receiving mode throughout the day. And you just breathe slowly. And as you slow your breathing, your brain waves slow down. And then you get out of this beta brainwave state, which is this high mental state, do, go, force. And you get into these lower brainwave states like alpha, slowing your brainwaves down. That's why we start meditations with breathing. Slowing your brainwaves down so you can connect intuitively. You can connect to the autonomic nervous system and slow everything down. And ask your body to get into receiving mode. Being in receiving mode is going to open and unkink the hose. Now, if you've not heard of my hose analogy, pretty much listen to any other episode. I talk about it all the time, but think of a kinked hose. You're trying to flush water through there. If you kink the hose, you don't have water coming out the other end. That's life force energy, right? If I'm in receiving mode, I am unkinking the hose and getting the flow of water, aka life force energy, to flow through my body again. I'm communicating to the universe. I'm in receiving mode. This is a measurable frequency that goes out away from the body, carrying that intention, which is what? I want to heal. I want a great relationship. I want a big business. I want a great job. I want a better, money situation, whatever your thing is. But that frequency that you're sending out from the body, from your energy body, from your energy, your emotional energy state, then that is what you are sending out into the universe. Your mental energy doesn't go very far. It's your emotional body. Okay. Then the next one is, and I will say this 1,000 times, meditate every day, every day, every day, every day. Just like brushing your teeth, just like putting deodorant on, every day, every day, every day. Every day meditate. Sit down 10 minutes. If you want to excel, if you want to crank this out and you want to go super fast, super fast, and you want to really, really create, meditate every single day. Get into receiving mode. Focus on expanding the heart and sending your intention out on the frequency. Send it out on the frequency, on the waves, and communicate through your body what it is that you want. What is it that you're trying to create? Getting into receiving mode is going to allow your frequency to move up the scale automatically when gratitude is the highest frequency. When we're expending a gratitude energy, we are letting the universe know we are in receiving mode. And when we're feeling gratitude before the thing has even happened, you are like propelling yourself forward through space and time. Instead of going out into the world and pushing and forcing and kinking the hose and manipulating and coercing things to happen, which takes forever, right? You've been working on this problem for how long, right? It takes forever. Get out of the mental state, get into the emotional body, get into receiving mode, and be thankful and grateful for the thing that you're trying to create and the person you're trying to become. This, my friends, is the act of creating. This is how you get what you want. This is how you start putting the pieces together. So let's just recap how to get what you want. The first thing is becoming the person. So you must research. If you don't know what it feels like to be in a loving relationship, you have no idea, then research. Start typing into Google. What does a person who's in a successful relationship believe? How do they think? How do they act? What is their body posture like? What do they say with their words, right? I bet you anything they don't say relationships are hard. I'm in a wonderful relationship now, have been for almost 12 years. And I disagree. And I used to teach relationships from stage, like how to have successful relationships, not only with your partner, but also with your kids. I used to teach it from stage. And it was a very, very powerful, eye-opening talk. And when you're in a successful relationship, you don't say things like, our relationships are hard, or all relationships suck, or all men suck, or all women suck, or everything's emotional, or why can't this work? I mean, we don't say things like that, right? So I had to shift all of that in order to find the successful relationship. Because if you listen to my other episodes, I had some relationships that were terrible, right? The 4-year relationship that should have lasted 4 days. Right? So I've been there and I remember what my beliefs were back then. And I remember how hard it was to shift, but I didn't have the tools. I had to read all the books, but when I read the books, I started practicing and it was working. The things that I was doing when I researched what a person is like who has a successful relationship, and I started mimicking and copying what they did to have that successful relationship, my relationship started moving. Oddly enough, things started shifting. I don't have to manipulate the outside world anymore. I'm using my energy to become in alignment with the thing that I want, and it pulls it forward. It pulls it towards me like nobody's business. It is an amazing shift that right now, within a very short period of time, I can start seeing results. That's what I want for you. I hope, let me keep going. Okay. Then you have to practice. You have to release the limiting beliefs. You have to install new beliefs, and then you have to step into that role. And the stepping into, that's embodying who you are becoming. You're becoming the person who has the thing that you want so much. And moving into receiving mode. Moving into receiving mode as much as you can. Do it with your eyes closed. It's easy. The next practice is now do it with your eyes open. Things are going to happen. Things are going to knock you off the horse. How long are you going to stay off the horse? get back on. Get back on the ride, okay? Meditate every single day. Meditate every day. If you want to go fast, 10 minutes, 3 times a day, okay? And if you have any questions, you can join my Lady Rising group and you can ask your questions in there. Tell me that you came in through the podcast. That's Facebook group, Lady Rising. You'll enter a couple of membership questions, but come into the group and say, hey, you know what? I listened to episode number whatever and I have a couple questions. I'd be happy to help. I'm in there and we're sharing some things and trying to grow this community, and I'd love for you to be a part of it. So I hope this served you well, and I will see you on the other side. Thanks for listening. And if you were inspired by this episode and are looking for healing, transformational growth, and a community to show up in, then please join me on Facebook under Jen Mac, JenMac. Friend me and follow me. You can also reach out to me via Messenger to see when my next program begins so we can work together to bring about your healing, deepen your connections, and start to create your bold, beautiful life. Also, if you are inspired by my podcast, please share your opinion in a review so others can be inspired too. Keep growing, going, and transforming, and keep looking for those nuggets of inspiration.